Here we are.
Here we are. Could this be so good?
This could be so good. I feel like it's going to be good.
They can sell the dream and sell the passion and sell the product, but everyone thinks in their heart of hearts, this could be so good.
The name absolutely defines what any entrepreneur thinks when they start something. Right? My first podcast was, I've spent my entire career interviewing people. You know, we worked out, I've interviewed over 1 million people in the 30 years I've been doing recruitment.
I've been messing around in the podcast world for a while as a guest. And as someone who's been sitting in TV studios asking questions for decades and decades. I thought, I can do that. I can do that. And now I have this new sort of hunger for information about the startup world.
I wanted to learn about media because here am I making hundreds of podcasts that no one's watching. So I thought it was time to start learning.
So our dynamic is really cool, I think. We get a great guest in there and we hit them from both sides. I'm the only one that's won a gold Logie between us.
Because I haven't put myself forward.
This Could Be So Good is a show about what it really means to build a business. It's proudly brought to you by The Pillars, a private members club located in Sydney CBD for innovators to connect, and the award-winning Ben Buckler Whiskey, because some of the best conversations happen over good whiskey.
So, Steve, the very first episode of This Could Be So Good.
Here we are.
Here we are. Could this be so good?
This could be so good. I feel like it's going to be good.
We've been trying to work out for 10 minutes who introduces the podcast, and we couldn't work it out, so we're just both here.
I felt you should do it.
Because I'm the only one that's won a gold Logie between us.
Because I haven't put myself forward. But yes, you're quite correct. If we're going to be factual about it, I think that you should do it because you came up with the name. You did. Because I had a whole bunch of names that I liked. Yeah. And then you ignored all of them and said, we should call it this.
Yes, because it came to pass early that you really like rhyming names.
Well,
like you're a child, like maybe like a 5-year-old
or a rapper.
Or a rapper. So the idea behind This Could Be So Good was because as a startup guy now,
which you are now.
I say that 10 times a day. I say it in every meeting and I hear it in every meeting.
Is it like a manifest in the mirror? I'm a startup guy now.
Yeah, yes.
Is that what we do?
And this could be so
every
good.
morning.
But I find, and I think you agree, which is why we went with the name This Could Be So Good, that you hear it so many times in startup world, in every meeting, people saying they can sell the dream and sell the passion and sell the product, but everyone thinks in their heart of hearts, this could be so good.
And I say it a lot, a lot. Like about everything, like breakfast, like literally everything.
This is now a breakfast podcast.
Well, being a breakfast show host, it kind of all sits together. Look, I think the name absolutely defines what any entrepreneur thinks when they start something, right? They go, this could be good. Maybe not so good, but this could be good. But so good's better.
Yeah. I love the way we got together. I think this is going to be fun.
So should we talk about how? Because everyone's like, how did these two know each other?
Yeah. Same barber. Maybe?
No, because mine's much shorter. Much shorter.
So we were, I was doing another podcast
you were?
You were in control of.
I was producing.
Yes. And we got to talking about what I was doing with the whiskey. And then I realised you are this startup guru, right?
Oh.
I saw that on your business card, startup guru.
It's definitely not on my business card.
I got so many questions for you. But once I realised, because I'd been messing around in the podcast world for a while as a guest, and as someone who's been sitting in TV studios asking questions for decades and decades. I thought, I can do that. I can do that. And now I have this new sort of hunger for information about the startup world. And that's where we got together because you got the answers to all my questions. Well, and we love talking about it.
But also, I wanted to learn about media because here am I making hundreds of podcasts that no one's watching. So I thought it was time to start learning.
So you're using
craft
me
a bit more.
and I'm using you.
Yeah, we're using each other. It's a symbiotic relationship.
We love that symbiotic relationship.
Symbiotic. Is that the right way of saying it?
So, mate, this has been fun so far. I've really enjoyed it.
It's been 2 minutes.
No, the other stuff. The other stuff that we'll be rolling out the next couple of weeks. This has been the most painful 2 minutes of my career. But it's been a lot of fun. I've learned so much in the last
I think I've really enjoyed it because I literally knew nothing about media at all.
Yeah.
I just started filming. And you got a gold Logie, as you may have mentioned. You know everything about me, like everything about media. And for me, that was like, oh, wow. And, it's to be able to sit next to and watch you do what you do as well, because that's what I do in the podcast. I literally sit and watch you, which I know is creepy, but we don't have the camera on me when I'm watching it.
So why did you want to get into the media side of it? Because lots of startups behind you, the Pillars Club, which is amazing, and you're doing lots of different things. We sat down before this and you're telling me the 10 different things that you're doing since I spoke to you a few weeks ago. So you're always busy. Why is the media stuff, the podcast world, even of interest to you?
I think content's become a thing, right? Everyone's content creator. So we had to get into it. But more so when you're trying to do anything with a startup or an entrepreneur, no one knows about it, right? So if you're going to help them grow, which is what we do, you've got to create content. So we said, let's start creating content. And then once I saw myself on camera, I was hooked. No,
I mean, the world needs more of this.
I think for me, with my first podcast was I've spent my entire career interviewing people. You know, we worked out I've interviewed over 1 million people in the 30 years I've been doing recruitment. Right. It's just the same thing. There were just cameras on it, and I think I really enjoyed the media side of it. I love. Look at all this equipment, which no one else can see. Look at all the science behind the lights and the sound, and the whole thing's just fascinating.
But it's a great opportunity now too, the podcast, isn't it, to talk to people and bring out that information as well. So our dynamic is really cool, I think. We get a great guest in there and we hit them from both sides. You was the guy that's been around the block 15,000 times.
I don't like the way you said been around
15,000, and it's a big block. Like you just
it's a massive block. It's more of a city.
And I'm coming out from the newbie perspective. So our questioning is really different. I think we both have very different lines of inquisition.
So what you're saying is my questions were better, but the way you did them were better. Because you're the media guy. No. Oh, no, my questions weren't better.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
As a startup guy, listening to your questions and the way you're interacting with entrepreneurs is really important. Like, that's why I wanted to do this, right?
Yeah.
Because I was sick of listening to other podcasts and thinking, I've got more questions for that person. They ask one question, there's the answer. I want to know more about that. And so when I'm sitting here watching you interact with these entrepreneurs, startups and founders, I'm like, wow, I've got front row seat to exactly what I wanted to hear. And then I get to chuck in a couple of other things.
Okay, that I understand because I'm with you. I hate it if I'm listening to a podcast and it's someone that I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
And they ask one question and then they move on. And I'm like, hold on, there's like 15 more questions you could go deep on that. And they don't do it. It drives me nuts.
And I reckon, as someone who's been doing this for a long time, and I'm a pretty good judge at it too, I reckon our dynamic's really good like that because we've both recognized in all the podcasts that we've done that you're going to be seeing very soon as we roll them out, that we're good at hitting people from different angles. So I think from an entrepreneur, a startup, a founder perspective, you're getting so many different bites at the cherry.
Very different viewpoints that we're coming from. Yeah, completely different viewpoints. So the questions are like really varied. You don't see a lot of co-hosted podcasts, actually. There are some, but there's not a lot.
Yeah, right.
But they're mainly individuals. I think actually some of the most successful podcasts that exist are two people because you get a lot more different points of view.
Yeah, and I think that was exciting when I first proposed that to you, and I said, "Is there anything like this where there's someone who's never been in startup before but is now neck deep in startup, wanting to know more, and someone who has done it lots before?" And you said that there hasn't been anything like that.
I've not seen a single, not in the startup world. There's ones around finance and politics and history, but there's nothing in the startup. We are pioneers right here, right now.
And this could be so good.
This could be so good.
Or shit.
I think for me, the most interesting part of what we've done so far, the episodes that we have already filmed, was the way the guest was trying to sort of deal with both of us. Because like you said, your questions were quite different from mine. I think if you look at a lot of your career, obviously you've interviewed a lot of people, but you've come from a very sort of, if you think about the segments in TV, right, and you've got short amounts of time. So you need to get these questions out.
Exactly right.
Whereas there was no time. So you could ask anything and I could ask anything and they didn't know what the hell was coming at them. And I think watching how they deal with that was quite fascinating to me.
Yeah. And I think they were interested in both of our, it was interesting because it put them on notice. It was like zig and zag.
Yeah, right? It was zig and zag.
And that makes, I think, for great viewing and great listening. But also, I found myself many, many times getting so immersed in what they were saying. I was thinking, is this gone selfish, all of us? Am I just now asking about my business?
You started asking me questions.
Yeah.
And then I started asking you questions. Yeah. And then they were the third wheel.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think
there's a lot of information either way. And that was sort of the point of the concept was you've got stuff to say about startup world and founder world. And I've got stuff to say about presentation and getting out there and stuff I'm learning now along the way, but I'm more inquisitive. You're the expert. It's been terrific.
I love the way you call me the expert. The other thing that we talked a lot about, which I think we did do pretty well, we tried to push, as we talked about, deeper, but we wanted to hear about the bits that went wrong. Because there's so many podcasts that just basically glorify it and make it sound like a wonderful journey. Yeah. It's not a wonderful journey. It's friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
But it's also so hard and there's so many punches in the face and all that. And we tried to extract as much of that as possible, which I think a lot of podcasts miss out on.
I was talking to a friend this morning, Sally Overmeter from Swish, a wellness group.
I know Sally.
Yeah, and she's terrific, and she's come through that startup world, and they're doing incredible stuff. But we were having a chat this morning, and she said when she started, it was hard to find entrepreneurs and founders to talk to.
Yeah.
But now, she said, as we walked along Bondi Beach, she said everyone's a founder.
Everyone's
in startup.
And a content creator.
Everyone's a content creator. Everyone's got an idea. So it's perfect time for this, right? Because everyone now has this hunger, this thirst for, I've got an idea, how do I make it happen? And that's where I'm coming at it from.
I think also that it's not just that everyone's a content creator or a founder. We've tried to find people who've changed from one career into that.
Yeah.
So there's, like you said, there's a lot of people come straight out of school, bang, they're a founder. Or they're at uni, they're a founder.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. We've tried to find people who've had, they're not just an accountant who's decided to start a business. We've gone and found people who've had successful careers, often in media or television or entertainment or something like that, who've moved into this. And it's, as you have just discovered, it's a totally different world.
Absolutely. And I think with social media particularly, we're all seeing these young founders who came up with this great idea during COVID and started to do something in their garage and sold out for $10 million. And you see that, but there's
not many of them.
A million other stories, right, where the rubber hits the road and it doesn't work out. You've mortgaged your house. Your family's now working in the business. The numbers aren't adding up. And these are the stories that we get in the podcast. And I think it's really, really important stuff to get out there. And that's what I really like about what we're doing too, is that we get to dig deep on that stuff.
But not too seriously. Because at the same time,
look at us.
Exactly.
Look,
it's difficult to keep it serious for like a whole hour.
Yeah. But that's also when I was listening to all these podcasts, trying to learn about how to build my startup. I was like, these are all dry and they're all boring and they're predictable questions and they're predictable answers. And so we break all those rules.
We do break those rules, and we filmed it in the Pillars, which was pretty cool.
Very close to a bar.
Yeah, very close. Well, right in front of
the bar.
We did do some. Did we do some in the library?
Yes,
we did. So some books.
But it was still close.
We
to
matured.
The bar.
As the show matured, we went from a bar to a library. That's us maturing.
That's right. I think the guests preferred to be in the bar. Well, they're always in the bar before the library, then back to the bars. Perfect.
We should do a moving podcast,
like a library crawl. Who would go on? No one would go on that.
A library crawl. How many libraries? I suppose I don't know. I've never done a library crawl.
How's this different to any other podcast that you've done?
It's different in every way.
Yeah,
because you're in
I'm here.
Mainly, it's got the gold Logie stamp on it.
Yes.
Did I mention that a couple of times?
There was a silver as well. We forget the silver.
Was there a silver?
Oh, it was a beautiful night.
No one cares
about
the silver. No one cares. So they don't. Who came second in the Olympics or something? No one knows.
Asshole.
How many?
Quit.
When you go, hey, we've got an amazing speaker coming. They've got 2 silver medals. It was like, fuck. What happened to the guy with the golds? What, is he busy?
He does not understand media.
So I'll tell you what's different.
Okay.
What I think is different.
Okay.
What's the biggest difference for me out of all the others?
Yes.
Was we've talked about the 2 angles, but essentially for you and me to come together, you've got myself here having been in startup world for too long and started businesses before that. So always been in this sort of entrepreneurial world, but a bit dull, boring business. And you've been in media over here doing your media thing.
Yep.
And then you've just sort of stepped into this and I've stepped into this.
Yes.
And so we now have 2 people who are in the same world, but from completely different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So as a podcast, not only are you getting a completely different viewpoint from both sides, you've got 2 people who ironically just got on. Not quite sure why. Ironically got on.
Coincidentally
got on. Or got on, or I don't know, we got on.
And now getting on for commercial gain. At first it was just for friendship. Now it's like, this will be so
good.
We
did it because we thought it'd be fun.
Yeah.
We did. And I think that's probably another thing. I think a lot of, in fact, nearly every single podcast I've done in the past has been for a business outcome reason.
Yes.
My one was very, very about the recruitment business. It wasn't even supposed to be a podcast or a public podcast.
Yeah.
Whereas we just thought we'd do this because we thought it'd be interesting and we just wanted to see what happened.
And it has been.
It has been
I can't wait to get this stuff out there.
It's coming.
Some great chat.
It's coming. So let's talk about some of the guests we've had because we've done 8 episodes so far.
Yeah.
So we've got 8 episodes coming out. Who are they? Let's talk about some of the guests.
Let's start with Robert Herjavec. I think that was a real coup for us to get in the early days. Of course, lead investor on Shark Tank.
What an energy bunny!
Energy and answers to every question, and just across the board. Lovely guy.
Really lovely guy.
But across so many businesses, a wealth of knowledge. So for us as a startup podcast to get lead investor on Shark Tank here, I think that was really cool. And he was a terrific guy. And I learned so much from that.
I was
I really did.
blown away. Not so much, I mean, his energy when he comes in, like boom.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In fact, most of our guests have come in with a lot of
I
energy.
agree.
But I think his knowledge, his experience, obviously building his own business, but then doing the Shark Tank stuff in the US to the extent that he still does it, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Just wild. Like the stories were wild.
Yeah.
It's not this is what I did in my career and this is what I did in my career. It's like, this is crazy. This was nuts. It was just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I loved that episode. It was a lot of fun to record. You never knew what he was going to say at all.
No. And we asked some really interesting questions too. And I got lost in that as well, because he's a guy who's got it all, right?
Literally.
So I was literally like, how do you know? I was asking silly little questions like, how do you know when you've...
And he answered those questions well. I thought he articulated really clearly his world.
There's a lot in that for everyone.
There's a lot in that. So that's a cracking one. First episode coming out.
The one and only Ant Middleton.
The one and only Ant Middleton.
What a great guy. He's a funny guy.
He's a big guy.
You see him on SAS Australia, he's yelling and screaming, he's a tough guy. He is a funny guy. And he's got his startup going with his energy drink, of course. And he's that was a great episode. And he really... I don't want to say put out, but he really put out. He really gave us everything, the nitty-gritty of it all. And you'd be surprised because you think someone so successful walks into a startup phase and boom, and it happens. And it didn't happen.
Didn't happen at all. He was very purposeful he's very thoughtful in the way that he talks.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't say something for the sake of it. He's got you can dig as deep as you want. He can go as deep as you want in it.
Yeah.
Everything's got really deep meaning and reason.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a single question. I thought we might catch him out a bit because, celebrity going into, like yourself, celebrity going into startup world. But he really just, everything was there.
Well, it blew that myth out about the celebrity, being paid a couple of $1 million to put your face on the bottle of something, right? He's not that with this. No. He's gone deep. He knows every single cog that's turning. Yeah. And that was really interesting. He's a terrific guy.
And then we had Gavin
Rubenstein. You know him from Lux Listings, right?
I also know him from when I was buying a house because I saw someone as well. But yes.
He's a firecracker, that guy.
But
and
disciplined.
What about a business, right?
Yeah.
Nothing he knows everything about that. He's built it from the ground up. He's broken away now with his own group, his own real estate group, which is, I think, probably one of the most successful in Australia. And he's a dynamo.
Never stop smiling. Not once.
Not once. Not once. But spoke to us openly too about the hard times.
He did. I mean, his story is fascinating. I think a lot of people don't know his story. They know him from Lux Listings.
Yes.
And they just think he's like every other real estate guy, but he's not. Sure. And I think the way he got there is a
And he was really open with us.
Yeah.
I got a lot from that. And I've known him for a long time, personally. And I got a lot from that chat. I got a lot of new stuff from that chat that I think any sort of founder or entrepreneur would be really interested 100%. In how that works behind the scenes.
And then we had Natalie
Kyriakou,
who you've also had on your TV show.
How could I not?
Yeah.
How could I not? After this podcast.
Possibly the funniest show I've ever filmed.
Unbelievable. And I didn't know what we were going to get. I didn't know too much about her. You knew her before.
You were like, who is this girl?
But she came in here, she was talking about sperm collecting helmets for parrots. It went off the rails very, very quickly.
She's an environmentalist. You know, she's got an OAM. Yeah. She's an environmentalist, but she should be in stand-up comedy with the things that she
talks about.
Terrific. It was terrific. I think that show will go, it was so just bizarre. The stories and the experiences that woman has had in her life is just extraordinary.
So already you can see we're going so wide with our guests.
I know.
So good. Got the head real estate agent, the guy from SAS Australia, lead investor on Shark Tank. These are quality guests.
And we won't even tell you the other ones. Let's not talk about all of them, right? Because we don't want to go through all of them. We don't want everyone to know all of them. Well, we could say the names. Who else did we have? I'm just trying to think.
Anthony Bell.
That was a fun episode too.
That was really, really good. And
you know what? That was possibly the most honest. That story of his past with his father.
Yes,
I don't think anyone knows that story.
Now I've known him for a long time, and he's my accountant. He's my business manager. I've known him for a long time, but I thought I'd love to get him in here and sit down and talk to you. And I know he started up his business, and across the board, he's involved in a lot of startups anyway. But you're right. And I've sailed with him.
There were some sailing stories. I've
sailed with him 3 times Sydney and Hobart. We're very, very close mates. And he was talking that day stories I've never heard. And you're right.
Really?
About the early days of the business.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Really interesting.
Father-son dynamic that most people don't know, which is probably what's driven him to be what he is.
That's right. And we brought the family thing to the fore. And I think when we're talking to people, what has come up a lot, and I didn't realize it in startup world, the importance of family and support, and then how that can go wrong.
Yeah, and look, on that, the Institute guys, right?
Yeah.
Best friends.
Classic.
Almost like brothers, right? And their story of the tiny little shop that they started
Classic.
in and that story, that is your absolute classic rags to riches kind of story,
Absolutely.
right?
And that's the one that a lot of our listeners and viewers will relate to because it's the guys in the little shop above the garage that they
Was
were
it above
renting.
a kebab shop or was it a garage?
Was it
I can't remember.
kebab shop?
But
They smell the same.
but they're still so young.
Right.
Like think about it, like so they're really young. I mean, maybe it's because we're older, but they're still really young, and that business is massive.
And the basis of the business was so good that it was like they're looking around going, people want a suit made, and it has to be this exclusive overseas custom thing.
Yeah.
We're going to disrupt that market. And for so many startups, I reckon, the pathway ahead is disruption. Yeah. That's what I've got from this.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to make some noise,
you got to do something different.
Do something different, pivot, left, right, zigzag. And I got from them that's exactly what they looked at the market and went, this is boring. We're going to make it interesting.
You don't have to come up with something new. You just have to do something better.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly, I could relate really heavily to that because it's the same with the whiskey. It's a boring old market and I've come in to disrupt that with a young, cool, casual approach to it.
Which is you. You're young, cool, casual. Look at the way you're dressed. You are dressed
compared,
young, cool, casual.
Compared to an 85.
You came here on your skateboard. I saw you.
I didn't know we were going to be using these seats today. Otherwise, I would have worn socks. I swear I would have worn socks.
You know, I think my favourite actual one to watch you do was Amal. Because you knew Amal a while ago.
Yes.
You hadn't seen it and you didn't really know what she'd done in business.
No.
And she doesn't hold back either, right?
No.
And her story was full on.
And what was really interesting for me with Amal is that I'm stupid. I got kicked out of school when I was 17, right? So I sit in meetings and I don't understand big concepts and big numbers and stuff. And my approach always has been, and I've said this to you 100 times, the Henry Ford approach, where I don't know how to make a car, but I know people who do.
Yep.
I don't know how to build a business, but I know people who do. What impressed me with Amal was she knows that business from top to bottom.
And food, right? Food is such a big thing.
Every aspect of that business, from the packaging to the, just everything. And I was really impressed with that because I knew her a while ago as a young lady, but she was just starting out in that path. But to hear her talk so powerfully about every phase of it was like, whoa, I wish I had that.
I remember you at the end of that episode, you were just like,
I wish I had that business focus and that business brain. Well, I'm learning so much.
It's growing on you.
Sorry?
It's growing on you right now. And then Steve Hugh, I fly flat.
Yes.
Like banker turned entrepreneur, which is a weird combo anyway, in terms of what he did. But he didn't go into a fintech. He started like essentially a travel business, right?
And I asked him this 3 times because I was hoping for a different answer, and he gave me the same answer.
Did you ask him something 3 times?
3 times.
Did we edit that out?
Why? I wanted to know because we always want to know the why, right? Like this is why we're telling you now why we're doing this podcast, why I'm in business, why you're in business. And I said to Steve why a couple of times, and his answer was the same each time because I wanted to help people enjoy that experience. Now, not a lot of founders would do that.
It's a good PR answer, but you can see with him, he means it.
Yeah. He just thought, I'm flying, I'm getting these flights, I'm getting these business class, first class upgrades. I can see how easy it is, and people don't do it. So clearly there's a business model behind it, clearly.
Yeah.
And it's expanding.
Well,
it's going really well.
The science behind it. I love that because I've been using his service for years, so I just didn't know the story.
Yeah.
But the story was, that was someone who had as with any entrepreneur, there's got to be a drive, right? There's got to be a reason why you do that because, as we've talked about, it's really friggin' hard.
Yeah.
His one was just genuinely wanting to give everyone that experience.
Yeah.
And he seems to, he's a gentleman, right? But he seems to get real joy from it.
Yes.
You can see it when you're interviewing him.
Yeah. So he was terrific. I haven't enjoyed the experience so far, but you're 7'2", so I guess you don't have a choice, right?
It's tough for me to fit in the economy. It is tough.
Guy.
That's one of the benefits of being tall. You can say, I can't go economy. It's just can't fit. All these episodes, you learn a lot. I've learned a lot. But outside of that, as we talked about, you have your own business now, right?
Yes,
and you are an entrepreneur.
I love the way I said that.
Oh, yeah, I've never tried it like that before. I want to know, you obviously learn a lot from every single one of these episodes.
Yeah.
What have you learned yourself in doing this whiskey business that's going fantastically, by the way? But what have you picked up yourself so far that you could never have learned in the glamorous life of television?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, that's it.
It's hard because I know people in my space who have taken a lot of money to stick their face on the front of something, and that's it. That's it. But I didn't want this to be that.
It's not you haven't got your face on it.
No, that's right. But I wanted it to be my project from start to finish, right? So I've spent Christmas now driving up and down the east coast of Australia in a ute with a trolley, and the back of the ute's full of whiskey, and I've been delivering and meeting people.
Been chewing tobacco while you've been doing that?
Yeah. I should have taken a horse, right? So I've realised now this is, but I'm loving it, Steve. I'm loving it.
I was going to say, but that's. I mean, there's a lot of different types of businesses you can start, right?
Yeah.
Software business does not require you to drive up and down the coast. You are a physical asset business, like you're a consumer product, right?
Yeah.
So you are literally, was it a new ute or was it a beat up ute?
No, it's a new ute.
Okay, good. Because you don't want to break down.
No.
So you are literally driving up and down the coast, Gold Logie winner, driving up and down the coast, delivering cases to RSLs, bars, restaurants.
Going and meeting people and opening up those pathways.
And what's that taught you?
It's taught me it has taught me the power of face-to-face.
Yep.
Because I've sold so much doing that. And I know that's not sustainable, right?
People appreciate it.
From a launch perspective and opening doors and knowing that those doors will fly open next time they'll pick up the phone next time. So I can see that at the foundation of this business where we are at now, that's of high importance, me making those relationships. It's like this one, right? If I meet people, it's a different situation. But I've found that it is all consuming. I'm up at 4 doing emails now. I'm up at 10 p.m. at night.
But it's exciting, right?
It's exciting and I love it. And I think the more I get into it, the more I love it and the more passionate I become. And I can see how I want this to grow now.
Yeah.
And this podcast, the series, the episodes we've done, it's given me so much. Seriously, I have taken away something from every podcast, lots of things away each time, and plugged it into my business on the way home. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
So now that I'm getting this information, this education, I'm loving it because before this, I was this TV guy sitting in boardroom meetings, my head spinning around going, okay.
And no makeup.
Smiling.
How have you coped with
Always
that?
wear
How have you
makeup.
coped with it? Oh, you do?
Well, in case
Sylvie do the makeup before you get in the ute?
I have a team. I have a team of girls in my house.
They're in the back of the ute.
It's in case I get pulled over by the cops and you don't want to do the mug shot.
You haven't got a dual cab, so you can fit the makeup team in the back.
They follow me in it.
That's good. Because I saw them outside the studio. There was like 20 of them.
It's a Christmas holiday.
They wouldn't touch me.
Usually 30. So I have learned a lot, and I've learned, and there's a lot of emotion in it. There's a lot of stress, and I guess I knew that business was stressful, but I didn't know as a founder how stressful. And that's where this podcast really helped. The information here is terrific, and it's given me because there's tough times. Right?
Oh yeah,
there's tough times. I had a great Christmas. We sold a lot of whiskey, but there are different times where you go, okay, now we've got to order all this stock, and now we've got to do all this, and now money's going out. And you know that better than I do. And it was interesting in every aspect of this podcast. There's been showing me the light at the end of the tunnel, which I think is really key. I got
one more question on what you've learned. I want to know, because I have always had this, and as much as I've had the dark days, does it give you a lot of, and this is a very purposeful word, I've thought a lot about this, does it give you a lot of joy?
So much joy.
That's I think a key word.
So much joy. Like we've just won our 3rd gold medal overseas. Like
hat trick.
So so we know the liquid's unreal.
Which is really incredible considering a year ago you didn't have a whiskey company.
Right.
And you've got 3 gold medals.
3 international
and you've got
medals.
no business making whiskey. You've never made whiskey in your life.
No.
It's wild.
Now that goes to the great guys at Corowa, the distillers. They're fantastic at what they do. It's not me stirring this in my garage. This is I don't know how to make a car, but I know someone who does, right? That's that concept. They're fantastic at what they do, but this is so much fun and it is so exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm getting in front of some really good people. Investors are really interested. We've got a pitch going out very soon. People can see that we're the noise-making whiskey. We've been disruptive in the marketplace. Because whiskey's boring. It's a boring space. It's quiet. And now here you got the game show host jumping up and down and screaming about it, and we're enormous cut through. So yes, at this point, this is a lot of fun.
Has anyone ever said when you were delivering your whiskey,
yes,
come on down?
And is the price right?
Have they?
Every time. I'll push my trolley into the pub and go, mate, is the price right or what? But you know what, Steve, if that makes this business,
absolutely,
if that puts me ahead of the next guy with a trolley full of whiskey, then bring it on.
What's your answer? It's right for me.
It's right. That's right. And what about you from all your learnings? Because you've been doing this for a long, long time. What would you say? And we ask our guests this all the time, by the way. And I'm still interested in what you've got to say.
What am I learning?
In the
podcast or just life? Because life's a big one.
Business.
I think for me, in the last 12 months, and obviously we've been filming the show during that time, the power of storytelling. I always knew about it.
Yeah.
I've always tried to encapsulate it into what we do. And it's why I fell into media, and it's why I like it. But I've been getting, you've helped me get a lot better at it. But I've also seen all these guests that we have, particularly someone like, in fact, every single one of them. I talk about Natalie because her stories were so wild, but all of them told stories, right?
Yes.
And I think understanding now that content isn't just something that I like doing. It is something I like doing, but the power of it is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And to be able to, like I said, I've been able to do it with you and really learn how to do it well. And, there's so many little tricks. I just need the makeup. I haven't got the makeup too. But I think that's probably what I've learned most in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
And I think even more so now, I've exited a couple of businesses and we didn't have content and we didn't do content and there was none of that. And I feel like I could have exited them a lot better if I had learnt about the power of storytelling and the power of creating content.
Yeah.
And I think that to me is the biggest thing I've learned. So it's just wild the emotional connection you can get to someone through stories.
Yeah. And I love it about how the conversations that we have with those people, that allows us, we've got the time to do it.
Yeah.
As you said, my segment's on the morning show, 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
No, I love it that we come at them from each different way. It's terrific.
Yeah,
Can't wait to get this out there. So what you got to do is you got to watch this on every single platform. But because I'm 61, I am not familiar with the platform. So it's over to the young guy. What are the platforms?
So platforms. Look, personally, I think YouTube is your best platform. I think that's where you get to see us in our greatest glory. But if you consume your podcast on Spotify, Apple, or iHeart, or any of the others, we will be on them all. Get on the platform and make sure you subscribe.
And if you don't have those, just join me on my MySpace account and you can see it there.